If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, listen up. CarShield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that covers more parts than ever. Visit carshield.com/audio to find out how you could pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Get your free quote today at carshield.com/audio. That's carshield.com/audio.
We made this.
Okay, welcome back to We Are Starfleet, a Star Trek universe podcast on the We Made This network. We've covered everything over the past 5 years, and I think it's time to actually talk about what we have loved so much about modern Star Trek. And luckily for me, I've got the full crew here on the bridge of the Protostar, the Enterprise, the Discovery, the Cerritos, the Stargazer. What else, Craig? Did I cover all the ships?
Yeah, just La Serena.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Not the La Serena, right? Yeah. I'm really happy to have my original OG co-host here, Ian Buckley, back on the bridge with us today. And of course, we've got Ashley Thomas and Craig McKenzie all joining. And as a special guest, again, Geoff Owen, returning from the Holosuite Media Network, has beamed over to help us out. And Geoff, you're going to be taking us through these awards. So I'm going to hand it over to you and let's see what happens.
Thanks very much, Mike. Yeah, what we've got is we've had, as you said, 5 years worth of wonderful Star Trek since 2017. We've had 4 seasons of Star Trek Discovery, 2 seasons of Star Trek Picard, 3 seasons of Star Trek Lower Decks, and 1 season each of Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek Strange New Worlds. We've also had 10 short treks as well. And I thought I would sort of impose on We Are Starfleet and celebrate really the best that we've had over that 5-year period by giving awards to actors, episodes, series, moments that really made us feel good about the last 5 years of Star Trek. And, people said that we're in a new golden age of Star Trek at the moment. I like to think that we're in the new platinum age at the moment because we're getting so much good content coming through. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this. We've got 14 different categories that we're going to go through. We're going to look at the nominations. We're going to pick from the nominations, choose who we think is the overall winner, and whoever or whatever wins will be the award winner for that particular category. Are we good to go? Yeah.
What do the winners get?
Ooh.
Credibility.
Sorry. I've been trying to think of a name for the awards, and all I can really think of are WASSIES, and that is terrible. So I'm open to some better ideas for this.
The WASSIES.
As in We Are Starfleet.
I hate that.
That's no good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've just put them down as the We Are Starfleet Awards for the moment because, yeah, they are celebrating the best of We Are Starfleet really over the last 5 years. So should we just call them a We Are Starfleet Award?
Yeah. I mean, I was going through like different iterations, like Fleeties. We can't call it Fleeties. That's just a silly.
That sounds like a medical condition.
Or a cereal.
Yeah. Did you eat your Fleeties? I don't know. The Trekkie Awards, that's something we gotta workshop. We should have workshopped that, Ashley.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I feel like there's good opportunity.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yes,
guys.
I too blame Ashley.
Oh yes.
I'll get on that bandwagon. Why not?
Oh, okay. Ashley is now in charge of quippiness. Got it. Gonna have to think about that one.
Okay, you only have the entire duration of this podcast to come up with something.
All right, guys. Pressure's on. I'm glad I got some black coffee right here in my Janeway mug. It'll be good. We'll help.
There we go. Okay, yeah. Geoff, take us away.
Okay, let's get started with the first award, which is the most underrated thing in new Star Trek.
Okay, most underrated thing. And now this is, again, the last 5 years up to the end of 2022. So the only thing that really gets left out is season 3 of Star Trek Picard.
Absolutely, yeah, because at the moment of recording, that hasn't started yet. So otherwise, everything else is open for this. So the nominations that we've got are LGBTQ plus representation. I also had a couple of suggestions for Seven and Raffi in there as well, so I put those together. Ship set design, CGI, Star Trek Prodigy as a whole, and the music across the shows as well. So there we go. We've got LGBTQ plus representation, ship design, Star Trek Prodigy, and music. So who wants to go first?
So Star Trek Prodigy, as in the entire series
thing. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I can see that definitely being one of the most underrated things in new Star Trek.
I would agree. I think because it is, quote, a kid's show, a lot of adults are skipping over it. At least the adults I've talked to, and a lot of people, when they watch it, they're like, wow, I'm so surprised. This is actually really good. So I think I'm going to go with Star Trek Prodigy as well. In fact, I think that's what I put for my answer.
Oh,
I don't remember what I put for mine, but I will say I think we're making an argument for most overlooked instead of most underrated, because I think everyone who sees it thinks it's properly rated as an excellent show.
Okay.
So I think we need to decide kind of where we want to go with this category, because I agree with what you guys are saying, but I think I don't know if that's underrated exactly. It's certainly overlooked. I mean, it certainly is written off too easily by people who think it's just a kid's show.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think it's underrated because everybody you see talking about it loves it. So it would suggest it's this thing that isn't getting its due, but it is among the people that are watching it. But yeah, maybe it's overlooked by some. I don't know.
Okay. How do we feel about the LGBTQ plus representation? Do we think it's underrated?
I don't necessarily. I think it's getting a proper amount of forefronting in terms of the attention that it's getting. It's been something that they are leading with at conventions, at premieres, in interviews when they talk about the show, in particular shows like Discovery, but it's even an undercurrent that's present in these other new series as well. I think they're pretty upfront about how intentional they're being with that sort of thing in the new iteration of Star Trek.
Ashley, what are your thoughts?
It's winning all kinds of. Forgive my ignorance, but I don't know the name of the award. The GLAAD Awards.
Yeah,
it routinely is nominated and wins. Right. Since Discovery's premiere, so I wouldn't say that that's underrated at all.
Okay, Craig.
Yeah, I don't think it's underrated either. It's something that they're properly championing, and they're getting better at it as well. They were quite upfront about it when it came to Discovery, and then since then it's been a bit more in the background, because you even had a bit of it in the late season of Lower Decks with Jennifer and what's her name, Mariner. Right, there's a thing between them, but they don't make too fine a point of it. They don't say, look, we're doing a same-sex couple here. It was just there's two people that have feelings for each other, and that's it. And they're not hanging a lantern on it, if that's the right term.
Right. I think they're normalizing it, aren't they?
Right. Yeah. It's incorporated much more organically into the storytelling.
And so sorry. From the first moment where you see Paul Stamets and Dr. Culber, and they're just brushing their teeth side by side in the bathroom. And from that moment on, I think it sort of championed really that whole thing. And, it's fantastic the way that they've just said, this is a normal thing. This is a normal couple. So, yeah. And it's just gone on from there.
And to add, like, that particular scene, Geoff, also delivered us one of the coolest / creepiest scenes in Star Trek, where you had Stamets looking in the mirror, then he walks away, but the mirror reflection stays.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that, because that was the hint then to the mirror universe. Yeah, I had forgotten about that.
And I think giving LGBTQ plus characters those kinds of scenes, those kinds of moments on screen really captures that they're just everyday, normal. There's nothing, that we haven't experienced together. Like, we can all have these moments. So agreed. Yeah, I think it's definitely not underrated. I think it's highlighted very well. So what about ship, set design, and CGI across the series? Underrated?
They've been amazing. Some of the ship designs, some of the set designs that we've seen. And, we've seen 5 different iterations of ships across live action and animated. And they all look incredible. So again, I think, how can we call them underrated? They are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, you and I have certainly talked about going back to when we first started with We Are Starfleet, talking about how great the show looked. Like, regardless of what else was going on, we at the very least said, well, this show looks like everyone sees where the money goes on the screen. It's very obvious. They definitely make these shows look like they're, properly cinematic in a way that we're not used to seeing televised Star Trek looking, because we didn't have it on TV for the last, 15 years. So there was a lot of evolution of the way television was made that we didn't get to see Star Trek evolve through. So it's a little bit of a shock, I guess, but it's also kind of welcome to the eyes to see such a modern looking show.
Definitely. Ashley?
I would agree. I mean, I don't get super geeky about, ship design or anything like that. But the technology that's used, the care that's given in creating everything, I wouldn't say that it's underrated at all. And I mean, even if you're not watching new Trek, you can look at images and be like, oh, wow, that actually looks really, really good. That was my biggest takeaway. Like, in the past couple of years, like, we upgraded our TV, and watching it on our old TV versus watching it on our new TV is like, holy cow. Like, I could actually see like all the detail and every, like, all the effort and work that's gone into it. And then the dome that they use to create like scenery and things like that. Like, that thing is insane. So I don't know that I would say that ship or set or CGI is totally underrated.
Okay.
But I also don't run in those circles either. So I don't know if people are like poo-pooing it or not talking about it. So.
I mean, I know that there were definitely, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Craig.
Oh, no, continue. I'll jump in after.
I mean, when I think about, when I have heard complaints about ship design, I think of like the finale of season 1 of Picard, where, we had a million anonymous looking ships. Yeah. I know theoretically there were a few different designs in there, but, it was such just a mass of anonymous CGI ships that all looked roughly the same. It was very uninspiring visually. Like, that's unfortunately, when I think of ship design and what people think of it in a negative sense, like, that's something that sticks out to me in my mind. So I mean, hard to call that sort of thing underrated. I will say, I think that Picard has and is in season 3 continuing to correct for that, because I think that criticism was heard loud and clear. So I think since then it's largely been positive for me in terms of ship design and presentation.
Yeah, for me, some of it is better than others. For example, with the 31st century or 32nd century ships in Discovery, sometimes I'm sitting there thinking, what even is this? I don't know what this is supposed to be. I guess they're trying to organize something that's super futuristic, but then it's quite indistinct in its own way. And some of the Klingon designs in season 1 of Discovery were a bit dull as well, considering the Klingons had some really distinctive ships in this. This is a bird of prey, and no, it's not. That is not a bird of prey. That's a grey blob flying around. But other design work, such as some of the stuff you see in Prodigy with the Protostar, the new ships you've seen in Lower Decks, the new ships you've seen in season 2 of Picard, the first episode anyway, there was a bunch of designs there, old and new, that were in there. So yeah, they've done a really good job with the design work overall. It's just some of it I'm personally not on board with. And some of the CGI can be a bit iffy. There's a couple of establishing shots of, I think, San Francisco at season 2 of Picard that just look terrible, for example. So some of it CGI-wise is up and down.
So that leaves us with music.
Obviously, we've had creations from Jeff Russo, Nami Melimad, Michael Giacchino over the course of the 5 seasons. And again, we've got these amazing talents creating these amazing walls of sound that we've had on the show, and some really, really fantastic callbacks to classic Trek as well, particularly in Picard and Discovery, where we've had hints of Voyager themes and Enterprise themes. And, Star Trek Lower Decks gave us a First Contact callback this most recent season as well. So I completely forgot to mention Chris Westlake in all this as well. So, we've had some really, really fantastic scores, theme tunes, background music. This is a hard category to choose from personally.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from, with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
I think you make a good point about the music, though. I think it's been consistently really good, but I don't think that enough people are talking about how good it is. So maybe that's an argument for music being the most underrated aspect of the new Trek. I think it's the thing about new Trek that is discussed the least, but I think it's also one of the things that has been, in terms of quality, consistently really excellent.
I would definitely agree with that. I think in particular, Nami Melimad, who's been handling Strange New Worlds and Prodigy, listening to her, particularly, Prodigy, a little bit of recency bias, but, it's in I think it's the next to the last episode, she does like this variation on the Klingon battle theme from the motion picture. She, in the holodeck episode, she not only, did like the nice, background symphony kind of stuff that she normally does, but then also like, oh, we're in these different scenarios here. Let me do some like 80s rock in this one. Oh, we're now in a noir lounge scenario. Cool. Let me, write a piece for this. And just all of them were very consistently good, really helped set tone for the scenes. I think of all of them, she's probably the most underrated. I think also a little bit because she's newer. She's done a lot of animation, but not as many larger films. So I think Nami of the music is probably the most underrated. We're familiar with Jeff Russo. We're familiar with Giacchino. So I think music, as Ian said, consistently one of the best things about New Trek, but also talked about the least.
Okay. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the stuff in Prodigy is generally really strong, and the overall theme tunes you get for the various shows are strong as well. But I'm struggling to think of any of the incidental music that I can sort of hum in my head, or, you know, in the way that you could in some of the older shows. So I wonder if the incidental music isn't as strong as it could be. And Picard is relying quite heavily on older music, so you already know it, so you already create that. But there's no, I can't really think of anything that just really stands out in a given episode of any of the other shows, really.
Is that maybe because of familiarity bias, that we know so much of the classic era that we can think of scenes like Mr. Warfire and we instantly know what piece of music that is in our mind, against, you know, something like the battle scenes that we've had from Star Trek Prodigy or Discovery? I get a feeling that the more we get used to them, the more we watch these shows, the more we'll recognize them and the more we'll think about them in our head. That's my feeling on it. I don't know if that's the same.
To an extent, yeah. I do think that some things are just instantly iconic, though. Look at Michael Giacchino's 2009 score, for example. You could immediately hum that coming out of the cinema because it was so strong. But I don't think, certainly, episodic incidental music has been quite to that level. So, you know, I'd be struggling to think of anything from any of the other shows outside of Prodigy. And Prodigy was recent, but it was also very earwormy. And I don't think there's very much there that's earwormy in the other ones.
For me, the themes have been, personally. I think in particular, I think, you know, and again, this is just personal taste. Like, I love season 1 Picard's theme. I play that all the time. You know, ditto. I like Discovery's theme a lot. Prodigy's, I think, is really, really strong. I think Lower Decks really captures the essence of kind of what that show is and its point of view. And Strange New Worlds, I don't like. So there's that one. But the others I really like.
Well, you can't blame Nami for that one. That's
no.
That's Jeff Russo did that one.
Yep. He sure did. He is 2 for 3. Oh well.
I've really liked the overall themes to all of the shows. Ian, I kind of agree with you. Strange New Worlds is probably, like, you know, the one that I felt was phoned in a little bit. It's fine. Whereas Prodigy, Nami's score really makes me feel like we're really in these nebulas flying with the crew, with the protostar. It feels good. I think based off of everything that we're saying here, seems like music is the most underrated.
I'll agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we decided then for the first category, most underrated thing in new Star Trek, we're pretty much unanimous on it being music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Unanimously for music.
Agreed.
Yeah. This is what we had. We actually had the overall winner as being Star Trek Prodigy. And I've got a few things that I've put up on your screens as well for some of the other suggestions that I had for underrated things across Star Trek. And you can see there's a few things there which raised a smile for me, like Captain Pike's hair, for instance.
Raised a smile? Was that a pun?
But yeah, you know, we've had suggestions of Erica Ortega's Detmer, Elkar's, which I thought was just a continuation from Legacy Trek. But we had an interesting one as well, suggesting Picard's mother's storyline in season 2, which fair play did raise some tears for me. So
for sure. Kurt, if that was you who suggested that, I see you.
Right. Shall we go on to the second category?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Second category, best creative person behind the camera. We have 6 nominations for this one. They are Mike McMahon. We had 1 nomination in there as well for the entire Lower Decks writing team. So I gave that one to Mike McMahon. Terry Matalas, Nami Melumad, Jonathan Frakes, Jeff Russo, and Dan and Kevin Hageman.
Okay. This is a great list. I could see this going to anybody. But Craig, what do you think about this list?
Well, for me, it would be hands down the Hagemans. And I'm not just saying that because I got to speak to them for about an hour. Self-plug, you can listen to that. But they really understood the show they were making. They really knew where their knowledge gaps were. And again, I'm bringing in my own knowledge here that other people might not have, but they knew where their own knowledge gaps were and how to fill them. And their responsibility was keeping the show running and making sure that all the pieces were operating as they should. So I think they did an excellent job at basically bringing together this show that maybe not a lot of people would have cared about otherwise, and could have easily just been a bit of fluff, nothing special type kids animated thing. And they really took it seriously and really made something out of it. So that, for me, that's, there's no contest between them and the rest of them.
Wow. No contest. Ashley, are you willing to contest that?
I mean, I'm definitely going to agree with everything that Craig said about the Hagemans. I also have gotten to speak with them, not for as long as Craig, but I did get to talk to them for about 10 minutes for Fangirlish. You can watch that interview on fangirlish.com. But what really impressed me about them, and I'll say the same thing, I also got to talk with Mike McMahon for 10 minutes, and I'm going to say the same thing about him. They both, like the Hageman brothers and then Mike McMahon, they all cared very deeply about the material, about getting details right. And they rely on their writing team. It's very much a collaborative effort. So for me, it's really hard to choose between just those two, just because I know the care and passion they put into their work. So, man, this is a tough list. I think this, there's only one I'd be like, nah. But we'll save that for later. But for me, it's almost a toss up between the Hageman brothers and Mike McMahon.
Okay. Ian, are you also tossing up a couple of names, or do you have a clear front runner?
I'm tossing up the same two names as Ashley. I really do think that if I had to give the edge to one, it would be the Hagemans. I think that's what I put down in the form. But I've been really impressed by the vision that each of these teams have had for their respective shows, and the confidence with which they are executing their vision, even after a very short time. I mean, there really isn't a ton of, trying to find your feet. I mean, I think, Mike, you weren't maybe the biggest fan of the first few episodes of Lower Decks, but I was a fan of both of these shows after only a couple of episodes. And the further each show goes, the more I become a fan of each. So I think, given the overall well-rounded quality of the shows in consideration and how big a surprise it was, I'd have to give the edge to Prodigy and that team. So I guess I'd vote for the Hagemans, but for me, ditto with Ashley, really a toss up between those two.
Wow. I'm gonna come in now. Looking at this list, there's another name that really spoke to me, Jonathan Frakes, going all the way back to season 1 of Discovery. Jonathan Frakes has been involved in every piece of modern Trek in some way, shape, or form or another, whether it's just consulting or taking phone calls with other team members, writing calls at night, or actually being in the seat, directing, producing episodes. I think without his involvement, modern Trek would not be where it is today. So for that particular reason, I have to at least give Jonathan Frakes a shout out here. But ultimately, I am going with Dan and Kevin Hageman as well, for the sheer fact that in one season, also bringing back the glorious 20 plus episodes of one season of Trek instead of just 10 and then, tease you a year later. All the reasons you guys mentioned. Emotionally speaking, the show is so heartfelt. It knows what it's doing. it is Star Trek to the core. And that is something that I think, we as audience members really have been looking for all this time. And that doesn't take away anything from the other series. It only adds to the overall wealth of the Trek fandom that we got. So Dan and Kevin Hageman, that brown table here, Geoff, what do we got?
Just to put my own 2 pence into this one as well. I didn't get on board the Prodigy train straight away. It took me a couple of episodes to get there, whereas Lower Decks, I was on board straight from episode 1. Having said that, what the Hagemans, and there's a name as well that hasn't been mentioned, so I'll throw it out there as well. Aaron Voltke, his involvement as well. All of these people involved in Star Trek Prodigy, they've made this show must see, and I no longer think of it as being the kids show. It is a show I recommend to people who haven't seen Star Trek before, and it's all because of Dan and Kevin Hageman's work on that have made it this must see sort of Star Trek starter pack. And I'm damning it with faint praise by saying that, but I think it's a great introduction to Star Trek as well for anybody. And yeah, I'm going to go on board the Dan and Kevin Hageman train as well.
Wow.
Which means I think that's across the board. I think we've all said that, haven't we?
Yep.
We have.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there we go. The second winner is Dan and Kevin Hageman, best creative person behind the camera. We've differed again there because Jonathan Frakes won out overall with the people nominated.
Wow.
With 21% of the votes. And we can see some other interesting names there. So we've got Olatunde Ansasamni. I hope I've said that name right. Michael Chabon, Leigh Thompson, the directors of Strange New Worlds, Joe Menosky, Aaron Waltke, Dave Blass, Ernst Meinke, who I found out is the German voice of Picard. When they translate Star Trek Picard into German, he's actually the voice for Picard. Bill Wolkoff and the Strange New Worlds writers. So.
Okay.
Well, hey, that's great. That's awesome. Write-in winner is Jonathan Frakes with 21%.
Yep.
That's impressive.
So the third category, Best Legacy Series Cameo in a New Star Trek Series. I think some people have misunderstood the word cameo, but I've put them all in anyway. We have got Quark, Kira, Riker, and Q. Now, these are across all Star Trek series, not just animated or live action. So, yeah, they are your 4 nominations. So who would you pick?
Out of these 4, I would have to go with Kira.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go with Kira as well. I wouldn't consider Riker or Q cameos, although Q could be a cameo if you're only talking about Lower Decks.
Right.
Yeah, same with Riker. Like Riker could be considered a cameo on Lower Decks.
I would say that's an appearance because he's in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kira. I loved her debating with Shax about who was more sacrificial, who rescued who owes who one. That was great stuff.
Yeah, I think that one also just warmed my heart the most to see as a cameo. Again, like Q's, like you said, could only really be counted if you counted the Lower Decks appearances. I think Picard, he's just too integral to the story there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Kira as well. I think also because that one, while being a cameo, also added the most to like Trek lore in her one episode. Like we find out, oh yeah, she and Shax were war buddies, and so that to me like just added like a whole different flavor to the Shax character, and that's something that I consistently think about because Kira being my favorite character from Deep Space Nine. I love Kira. I've met Nana. She's a wonderful human. I just really appreciated how that enhanced the storyline for Lower Decks.
Personally, I've got to agree as well. The scene, the first moment you see Kira where she's looking at the wormhole, and the two moments from her face as well, and the baseball that's in the ops office as well. And it's Kira for me as well, clearly.
It's time for today's Lucky Land horoscope with Victoria Cash. Life's gotten mundane, so shake up the daily routine and be adventurous with a trip to Lucky Land. You know what they say, your chance to win starts with a spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com to play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, so that was quite quick and easy, how we all decided that Kira is the winner of the third category. The writing winner. There's a definite Jonathan Frakes bias.
The Frakes bias, yeah.
21% of the votes again for William Riker.
Okay. Yeah, I see here that judging by the names, it definitely seems as though some folks did not quite understand what a cameo actually is, which is fine, totally fine. Interesting names here. Kirk Thatcher, of course, the punk on the bus from A Voyage Home. Right. Shout out to my whale mug right here. Tom Paris, that was a good. I feel like Tom Paris is definitely a solid cameo option. Mm-hmm. The whole thing about him being on a plate and then showing up, that was hilarious. And also, like product placement a little bit by CBS, because now plates are once again up on the shop and available to purchase. So
a friend of mine gave me the Tom Paris plate as a housewarming gift when Mr. Nerdy Blogger and I bought our house this summer. So there you go.
Excellent. Clint Howard. We all remember Clint Howard, right?
Sure.
Oh, yes.
What the heck did he cameo in?
He was in Discovery.
Yes.
The final episode of season 1. He was.
Yeah. He was
the slave trader, wasn't he?
Yeah. Something like that.
You're right. Man, that's a good one. That's a good cameo.
Yeah. The other names on this list, though, we've got Deanna Troi, Janeway, which that's not a cameo.
No.
Sulu,
Janeway is wonderful, but not a cameo.
Janeway is amazing, but yeah, she's not a cameo. Sulu, which was a great cameo. Odo, which I thought was very heartwarming, seeing him in Prodigy. Zephram Cochrane in Lower Decks. So for a moment there, I've forgotten where we'd seen him. Dr. Crusher again in Prodigy, which was a great moment. 7 of 9 people voted for as well. That's not a cameo. She's practically one of the stars. Guardian of Forever, which I thought was a great suggestion. And Harry Mudd. So there we go. They were the other options.
All right.
Harry Mudd's a weird one because that's a character cameo, but not an actor cameo. And it's not really a cameo either. He's in 2 episodes and a short. So
yeah,
it's quite significant. Roy, I guess, is only in Lower Decks that you can count her as a cameo.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the 4th category. Best Star Trek moment.
Oh, I like this. Wow. Okay.
So do you want to read these off, Mike?
Sure. So best Star Trek moment, we have Federation allies supporting Starfleet in the Prodigy finale. If everyone remembers, that's the scene where the Protostars construct has taken over all the Starfleet vessels and the non-Starfleet ships come in to take the beating. We have Seven and Rafi, which I assume just their overall relationship.
Yeah.
Janeway arguing for the Protostar crew at the San Francisco headquarters and taking them under her wing. Great moment. Holographic Janeway's sacrifice. I'm seeing a lot of Prodigy representation here.
There was a lot of Prodigy suggestions that came in.
Interesting. Picard.
I think that means we chose wisely earlier.
I would agree. Cerritos at DS9 and Picard and Q's final scenes. So out of this selection, Ashley, what do you think would be considered the best Star Trek moment?
Mike, you're making me go first. This is hard. Man. First of all, as a Janeway fan, I'm just really excited to see so much Janeway on here. That just makes me really happy. For me, it's a toss-up between Janeway arguing for the Protostar crew at Starfleet headquarters and taking them under her wing, because that's very Janeway. That's very much the embodiment of what does the Federation stand for. And it is so true to her as a character, but also hologram Janeway's sacrifice. I mean, that's exactly what, Janeway did in Endgame, in the finale of Voyager. So for me, it's a toss up between those two. I don't know that I can decide.
Okay. Craig, let's come over to you.
Well, for me, it's quite an easy decision. It's the first one, the Federation allies supporting Starfleet, because it has Gwyn's speech, which is the best speech in modern Star Trek, hands down. I think it's beautifully written, beautifully performed, and the fallout from it is great. Although I will give an honourable mention to Janeway arguing for the Protostar crew, because I love the line where she says, in their absence, in my presence, they get our respect. And then everybody just shuts up. That was such a great moment. So yeah, the first one, but honorable mention for the third one.
Okay. Ian?
Yeah, this is actually pretty tough for me too. I agree with Ashley. Love the Prodigy representation. I think I'm most inclined to agree with Craig. I think the Federation allies supporting Starfleet in the Prodigy finale is the best sort of Star Trek moment. I think if we're narrowing the focus just to Janeway, I think that sacrifice moment is incredible. And I do want to give a shout to the Picard moments that were mentioned. We don't always talk about Picard in the most glowing terms amongst ourselves. And I think that these moments, these scenes, these episodes are ones that for me were highlights of the show so far. And I do appreciate the work that was being done in those episodes and those moments that are mentioned here.
I'm also going to give a shout to Picard and Q's final scenes. I thought they were handled really well done. They were well written, well crafted. They had a good emotional punch that went along with it, especially throughout that season, the whole thread as it unraveled. But at the end of the day, I also have to give it to Prodigy. Janeway arguing for the crew. That was, if everybody had someone like that, if everyone had their own personal Janeway in their camp to help them through those moments when they need it most, then this world would be absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, that would take my vote as well. There's a particular moment that I spotted on the program, and I've not heard anyone talk about it, podcast or reviews or anything. And it put a smile on my face when there's the moment where she's talking about Dal as being an augment and the combination of the 26 member races of the Federation. And she makes this comment about, is he more superior? Is he better? And Dal's face is this sort of look of hope. And she goes, no, clearly not.
Yeah.
His
clearly not.
Disappointment on his face is brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my moment as well. And are we agreed on that one? No, I think Ian, you said was it Ian, Federation Ally supporting the finale?
Craig and I both said that one.
Okay. But 3 of us have said that Janeway are going for the Protostar. So that is our winner. And for the first time, we agree.
Okay.
We
so,
got
yes, 13%. We agree with the write-in votes on that one. You can see on your screen all of the suggestions that we had, including moments from Picard Lower Decks. There's the Cage recap as well, which I thought was great. Callbacks to Star Trek for Enterprise at Kylie, the season 2 finale, or a battle from Star Trek Discovery, Cyborg's brief appearance. Well, there you go. Anything that you can pick out there that you like.
Well, there you go, Craig. Gwyn's speech and Prodigy's finale there.
Yeah, I would say that's part of the support.
It is
anyway, because
I agree.
Leads into it.
Yeah, it is.
That
part
is
of
an
that
excellent
nomination.
speech. Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to whoever talked about Mirror Universe Lorca. Totally agree. Love that character arc. Love the reveal. And I am also annoyed that we haven't seen Lorca Prime.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Lorca Prime.
I was under the impression that Lorca Prime was dead.
There's no conclusive evidence. That's just sort of what they assume.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of dangling threads.
There's no body.
They don't answer.
Comic book rules and in Star Trek, if there's no body, they can come back.
Legit.
Yeah.
Right. So 5th category, the best character in an animated, best guest character in an animated Star Trek series. So we have got nominations for Will Riker, Tom Paris, Agimus even, and Peanut Hamper.
Agimus was the raging computer, right? From Lower Decks.
Yes, played by Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs computer, yeah.
Yep, the Jeffrey Combs computer. Yes. Well, right out of the gate here, folks, I got to say we can't. I have a hard time saying Riker or Tom Paris because they're not like originally animated characters. They have history. They have backstory. We know them. We love them. So it's kind of, it would be, for me, it would be cheap to say Riker or Tom Paris because that's just how I feel. So out of Peanut Hamper or Agimus, that's a tough one for me, but I'm going to give it to Agimus because I love the Star Trek of the 1960s. This is my background. I'm wearing a green tunic. It harkened back to that, AI taking over, crazy robots taking over everything, computers running the world, and we got to destroy the evil computer. So that stuff is really cool to me. Ian, what about you?
I'm right there with you, buddy. I love the TOS vibe of Agimus. And I'll be honest, I think Peanut Hamper's second return episode this last season was maybe my least favorite episode of the season. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. So that's maybe coloring my opinion of Peanut Hamper a little bit. I'm voting for Agimus here.
Okay, 2 for Agimus. Ashley.
I'm going to shake it up a little bit. I'm going to say Peanut Hamper. And here's why. I hate Peanut Hamper. Every time Peanut Hamper shows up, I'm just like, shut up. You're terrible. You are like the worst. Like you violate all the robot laws. First of all, but anyway, I'll agree with Ian that second Peanut Hamper episode, definitely my least favorite of this past season, though I will say I watched it New Year's Eve with a friend, and the communal watching experience made it better because it was so weird. But still, every time Peanut Hamper shows up, the fact that this tiny little exocomp makes me feel like unbridled rage. I think that makes her an excellent character because she elicits such an emotional reaction from me. So Peanut Hamper, and that's no shade on Agimus either. I love Jeffrey Combs, but I don't think it's his best Star Trek role.
Greg, how do we feel?
I'm going to go with Riker. And even though he's a familiar character that we all know really well, it's also a reinterpretation of him. It's the Lower Decks version of Riker. So the same guy, but they've just changed the slider on these different traits. So he's more ridiculous than he is in most of Next Generation. Not all of Next Generation, because some season 1 stuff's pretty ridiculous, but it dials up his love of jazz, his quippiness, all that stuff. I think it's a great job. And it's a bit like if Zach Brannigan was competent. I think that's the best way I can describe
a little bit,
Dex Riker. And I loved it. And Jonathan Frakes clearly loved it as well.
Yeah.
That's a great take.
Yeah, that's a great way of describing him. I cannot bring myself in all good conscience to vote for Peanut Hamper for exactly the reasons that Ashley said. Her first episode, she was all right. She was an interesting character. In her return episodes, that is my least favorite episode of Lower Decks across the board. So no, I cannot bring myself to vote for her. Sorry, Peanut Hamper. I'm going to vote for Agamus because, while it's not Jeffrey Combs' best role, it's Jeffrey Combs. And one, he shares his name with me, even though he spells it wrong. But two, I want to see more Jeffrey Combs in live action Trek.
Same.
And Agamus gets my vote.
Remember when people were fan casting him as Dr. Boyce in Strange New Worlds, and he was like, no one's asked me. I'm not doing this.
I think that would be great as well. But yeah, they made Mabenga a major character instead. So we've got that. That's 3 votes for Agamus, then 1 for Peanut Hamper, 1 for Riker. And guess what? The write-in winner was a tie. 12% of the votes each for Tom Paris, who none of us picked, and Peanut Hamper.
Hey, okay. No, I love it. Look at all these other names too.
Yeah, we've got some great suggestions in there.
Badgie, you gotta love Badgie. The Diviner was a great character, but I wouldn't know if really that's a guest character. The Duplers were fantastic.
I love the Duplers.
Petra Aberdeen in there as well, who I thought was a great character from this last season of Lower Decks. Tyces, he came in late on in Prodigy, but he made an impact. Tillin from Lower Decks. Zero got a nomination as well, but again, he's not really a guest character.
No.
But
I guess some clarity around who we're actually talking about on these categories is a learn for next year, isn't it? Because some of them it's the guest or the cameo. It's if you choose one for one, don't choose that for the other. That kind of thing. I don't know.
Remind me who Amina Ramsey is.
The captain of one of the other California ships in Lower Decks. I can't remember which one or which episode. Sorry, I'm a rubbish fan in that one.
That was the episode where Captain...
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+. Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Captain Mariner.
Captain Freeman?
Thank you, Captain. I think, is that the one where they were like kind of competing with each other? Like Captain Freeman wanted to be better than Ramsey's ship, or was that the one where Mariner was friends with Captain Ramsey?
I think Ramsey's Mariner's friend. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Right, moving on. Category 6.
Do it.
Best guest character in a live-action Star Trek series.
Okay.
And your nominations are Harry Mudd, Philippa Georgiou, Captain Angel, and Q. Again, is Q a guest character? I'll leave that up to you.
And which Giorgio are we talking about as well?
They just said Philippa Georgiou, so I'm taking that to mean both of them.
Okay.
You could argue that first Giorgio is the guest character and Empress Giorgio is the recurring.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
No, okay. If we are going to go under that assumption, then my take would be Philippa Georgiou.
Yeah, Captain Georgiou.
Yes. The original OG for 2 episodes. Yes. Ian, what's your take?
I think of these probably Harry Mudd. Just again as a TOS fan, his and as a big Office fan, his popping up, played by Rainn Wilson in Disco was a lot of fun for me. I wouldn't mind if he popped up again in Strange New Worlds somehow.
Craig, how about you?
For me, it's Harry Mudd as well. I thought Rainn Wilson's portrayal of him was really good. Very different from the original series version, but very good. And yeah, so the time loop episode was immensely fun, and he was good in it. So yeah, and the short was all right. Where he had a bunch of robots or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Ashley?
Ooh, man, this one's tough. For me, I think it's a toss-up between Harry Mudd and Captain Angel. I thought the episode that Captain Angel was in Strange New Worlds was it was like the best all around. It had fun, it had action, it had adventure, it had space pirates, all things that I enjoy and find entertaining in media, but also in my Star Trek. But man, Rainn Wilson as Harry Mudd is just absolutely delightful. So flip a coin. Sorry, guys, I can't decide. Come back to me. I'll think a little more.
Fair. I wanna mention the episode with Captain Angel, the Serene Squall. Like you said, Ashley, it hit like all those buttons of fun Star Trek. It was adventurous. It had the action. It had quite a bit of like enjoyable quippiness. You had Captain Pike being maybe a little overconfident in what he was doing and kind of like paying a little bit of a price for that. And I thought Jesse James Keitel like really nailed it and brought like a smarminess to the role, and it was really nice. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but that was I would love to see Captain Angel again, but I'm still sticking with Philippa Georgiou.
All right.
Captain Angel, for me, because there were 2 parts effectively that they were playing. We saw the first half of the episode where it wasn't Captain Angel. They were another character flirting with Spock and winning Spock over. And then you saw Captain Angel come through at the end. And as you said, Mike, the smarminess and the sheer villainousness of this character was fantastic. But Harry Mudd won me over in all of his appearances in that first season of Discovery and his short trek. I was never a fan of the original Harry Mudd. Mudd's Women is one of my least favorite TOS episodes because I just think it's actually boring as far as I'm concerned. Mudd, I thought, was the better episode, but is problematic these days. Yeah. So seeing Harry Mudd done well, paying tribute back to that original character and adding more to it, yeah, absolutely. Harry Mudd is going to get my vote on this one. Have you decided yet, Ashley?
Gosh, no. All right, I'm going to go with my gut. And I'm also going to go with this one because I know that's what I wrote in. It was Captain Angel.
Captain Angel. Okay.
Cool.
We had 3 votes for Harry Mudd, was it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So Harry Mudd does win. But Ashley, the majority of people agreed with you.
Oh.
Wow.
All right.
I like it.
19% of the nominations were for Captain Angel. And again, here we go with some of the other nominations that we had. Again, I think some people are missing what guest character is, because we had a suggestion of 7 of 9 for Jet Reno, for Hemmer, for Christopher Pike, which I thought was quite amusing. No, actually, I remember the Christopher Pike nominations were for his second season Discovery appearance, not for Strange New Worlds. So yes, that does count. But there we go. Any names that you can see on your screens there that are of note?
I think Tarka was my vote. Oh,
yeah, that's
good to see him represented. Well, he'd be represented because I voted for him, but you know what I mean.
That's anybody who nominated is listed on my screen. So.
I wouldn't have called President Rillick a guest character, but her performance is definitely noteworthy. Her and I'm blank. Oh my gosh, the Vulcan president. Not Vulcan president? The
I'm blanking.
Navarre president. President.
Yeah,
her.
I thought they were 2 of the best parts about the most recent season of Discovery, adding great tension and just depth of nuance to that story, especially Rillick being the foil that Michael desperately needed. And I say that as Michael Burnham is a very close second for Tarina. Tarina, yeah, she's wonderful. But
I love how everybody written as their character names, and then it's just Brent Spiner as if he was a character in the show.
To be fair, he's played a few different characters.
Yeah.
But
except
anyway,
from that character, except from Brent Spiner. He hasn't played him yet.
He hasn't played Brent Spiner.
Actor Brent Spiner.
He did that in The Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was fun.
I wonder who wrote in Sol Rodriguez, which is the actor's name for the doctor that oh man. There's so many character names. Character names.
Captain Rios?
Rios.
Oh, yes. So when Rios was on 21st Century Earth, he fell in love with the doctor. I'm trying to remember what the doctor's name was. But anyway, I think
that's probably why the actor's name is written there.
Yeah, exactly. But she's got my vote too.
Fantastic. Right. Let's get on to the 7th round, which is the best character in a new Star Trek series. We've got 6 nominations for this one. We've got Michael Burnham, we've got Sylvia Tilly, Christopher Pike, Jean-Luc Picard, Cristobal Rios, there you go, Mike, and Saru.
These are great nominations. These are quite possibly, best character in a new Star Trek series. I don't know specifically about Jean-Luc Picard. That does not really feel like, like he's been with us for so many years. So in a new Trek series, Ashley, I know you love it when I pick you to go first.
Well, man, you know what? 2 of my girls are on here, and I love Michael and I love Tilly, but I'm going to go with Tilly. And here's why. Tilly brings something that we haven't really seen on Star Trek before. It's a character who is unsure of herself and needs to grow and is awkward and loud, and people don't always like her. But Tilly she's real. Like, I watched Tilly and I was like, oh, is this what I look like to other people? Because I see so much of my own personality in Tilly, like her exuberance and her flying tackle hugs and, and her unbridled joy, but also like in a lot of ways feeling really socially awkward and not knowing where she fits in. We don't really see that on Star Trek. Mike, I think you were the first person that I ever heard call Star Trek competency porn. And Tilly is not always competent, but she tries. And to me, I think that is a flavor of realness that I think Star Trek needs.
I completely agree with you. When I think about cadets in the Star Trek world, everyone thinks about, Cadet Crusher, Ensign Crusher, and he crushed it every time there was a problem. He came up with a solution and he was just so willing to just do it. But when I was that age, I had none of those skills and I was just a bumbling fool. So I could never relate to Wesley Crusher. And even now as an adult, like I relate very much with Sylvia Tilly, very real person, trying her best, giving it her all with her whole heart. And that is a true Star Trek moment, right?
I would agree with that, but I also just said that. So,
Greg,
I'm going to go with Saru. I think he's the best original creation in the franchise, the modern iteration of the franchise. I think Doug Jones plays him so well, from the vocal performance to the physical performance, his little swish when he walks, where his hands wave behind his back as he walks, and just the way he conducts himself, the way the character's written, the way he's developed. I think he's excellent.
Yeah, I really like Saru. Saru's a great addition to the Star Trek lore. He definitely embodies all of the command principles that you would expect in a legacy Starfleet crew member. He's someone to look up to. He's a great mentor to both Burnham and Tilly as well. And he serves as a sounding board for Captain Pike when he comes on board.
Yeah.
Ian, what are your thoughts on this list?
I too think that, Picard, as much as we love him, doesn't really belong on here. I'd love to have seen some animated character representation on here instead of him. That said, I think my gut is to go with Saru as well. You and I have talked over the years about our love for this character, about Doug Jones's work with this character, about how fully realized this character feels and how, seamless he, his embodiment of this truly alien creature as a member of the crew, like it just feels like, oh yeah, that's an alien standing there. Like, of course, it's such a believable performance that's so physical as well as emotive. He's had a couple of scenes that have moved me close to tears. It really is a testament to his performance that he's able to perform so much through all of that makeup work, that fabulous makeup work that they've done with him. I think it's got to be Saru for me. Like Craig said, I think it's the best realized character in new Trek that we've seen, certainly in live action.
I can't disagree with any of that. I have a hard time choosing. I really like all of these selections. Of course, like I said, minus Picard. Rios in particular, if we had the third season with Rios, I think, his character would go down in history as being, one of the best additions to the Trek series. So for that, definitely glad to see him on this list, but I can't vote for him only because of the short time we had. And Christopher Pike, of course, I don't know, again, wonderful representation by Anson Mount. Wonderful performances from both season 2 of Discovery and in Strange New Worlds. But I don't know that I'm going to vote for him. I love my girl, Michael Burnham. She's fantastic. Every time she's on screen, she lights it up. And I'm really happy to see where her story is going. And I hope it continues to go in like positive directions. But at the end of the day, I'm going with Ian, Craig, Saru. We got to go with Saru.
Make that 4 votes for Saru, because that's who I'm going to go for as well. Pretty much for all of the reasons that you've all said. The acting performance from Doug Jones, the character moments that we've had with him over the years. We've gone on quite a journey with this character. When he first came on, he was the only prey character that we'd really seen in Star Trek. That changed with his metamorphosis in season 2 and his realization of what the other creatures on his planet were. I've forgotten the name of them off the top of my head. And
Kelpians.
No, the other race that were on there, the ones that were treating them as prey. The Baal, I want to say.
The Baal. Yeah.
But the Baal, yeah, I knew it wasn't Baal because that's a Stargate character. But it's Saru for me. But we disagree with the write-in vote. It was a standout winner for Christopher Pike, 27% of the votes. And here's all the nominations that you can see for the animated characters. And I've just realized I've spelled Gwendala's name wrong. But we had nominations for Boimler, for Raffi, for Zero, Roktak, Jet Reno, Christine Chappell, Rutherford, Gabriel Lorca, 7 of 9, La'an, Gwendala, and Devana Tendi.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. It's time for today's Lucky Land horoscope with Victoria Cash.
Life's gotten mundane, so shake up the daily routine and be adventurous with a trip to Lucky Land. You know what they say. Your chance to win starts with a spin. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com to play over 100 social casino-style games for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
Available to players in the U.S., excluding Washington and Michigan. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
It's a great list. Out of all of them, I would also say La'an would be one of the best new characters.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chapel too. I'm a big fan of what Jess Bush is doing with her in Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, same.
Definitely agree. And I just want to comment. I do agree with everything you guys have said about Saru. Saru is, I once heard the definition of meekness as strength under control. Because when we see Saru let loose, like he is like fierce, everybody's dying, get out of the way. But he is kind and gentle. And I mean, kind of the embodiment of servant leadership. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, and just something that I feel like is really necessary right now in the current political and social climate that we face. You know, toxic masculinity is like, what does it mean to be a good man? I think you could really make an argument that, like, this alien right here knows what it means to be a good man. So
really well said.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the 8th category, the best actors in an animated Star Trek series. The way that we've set up the actors is because Star Trek is a great advertisement for LGBTQA, as we said earlier on. We didn't just want to put this down as a man and a woman. We wanted to share the love, if you like, across all non-binary as well. So what we'll do on this is we will pick 2 winners, 1 each from different genders. How do you feel about that? Okay.
Sounds good.
So the nominations that we had, we've got Riley Alizraki, Ella Purnell, Kate Mulgrew, Tawny Newsome, Brett Gray, Noel Wells, Jack Quaid, and Eugene Cordero.
Okay. So animated Star Trek, so Lower Decks and Prodigy are represented here. Out of this list, folks, we have... He stopped sharing. He's going to reshare.
Apologies. I clicked the escape button when I didn't need to. Sorry. Hang on.
That's okay.
Oh.
You need to reroute power to the techno thing.
Yep.
Slideshow.
Check the tech.
Problem with the EPS conduits.
From current slides. Yeah, pressed escape and I just wanted to go Alt Tab. Right, okay. Share screen. And we're going back to... Oh, come on, where's it gone? Sorry.
For those of you listening, let me describe all of our cool Star Trek shirts that we are wearing.
All got our Star Trek shirts.
Yeah, I'm just observing this while Jeff's getting the PowerPoint back together. But I was like, we are all wearing very cool Star Trek shirts.
We do. Good job, everybody. Jeff, what's your shirt?
This is not a Star Trek shirt. I was wearing a Star Trek hoodie.
That's what I saw earlier.
Okay.
Yes. It is this, but it's rather warm in this room, so that's come off.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay.
But
we will allow it.
It's the shirt for my amateur theatre production company.
Oh, cool.
So
neat.
Represent. All right. Now that we have main power back online, back to our best actors in an animated Star Trek series. This is a tricky list for me because I want to say Kate Mulgrew because she's playing two parts, both hologram Janeway, which is still experienced, still gracious, still humble, still intelligent, working with these kids, but at the end of the day, still a holographic construct of a character. She's also playing herself, Admiral Janeway, back from the Delta Quadrant, wealth of experience, in command of the USS Dauntless, in command of various other divisions and operations, and likely other ships, as you know, she's an admiral. So there's two different parts there. But the reason I'm hesitant is because we have so many other new names on this list that also deserve to be highlighted. Tawny Newsome is absolutely killing it as Ensign Mariner on Lower Decks, and I love the work that she's doing. But also Ella Purnell is really strongly delivering with her role as Gwendala. And then there's Eugene Cordero, who is kind of a funny guy, but in those scenes where he's trying to struggle to recall his memory, in those scenes with his friendship with Tendi, it's so impactful and emotional that you just can't help but feel for him personally. So this is going to be a tough one for me. Craig, let's start with you while I think about it.
I'm going to go with Ella Purnell. I think she has some really complex stuff to play with. She's the most conflicted character on Prodigy to begin with because she's battling against her desire to run away from her father as well as be close to her father. And that plays out in really interesting ways through the series. And she does a great job of portraying that. And with the combination of the aforementioned speech, she nails the delivery of that. So for me, there's no contest there. I think she's excellent. And I would give the other gender acting nomination to Eugene Cordero as well, because again, he has a lot to play with over his period of time on Lower Decks. Probably more than most, and he does it really well.
Ian, what are your thoughts?
I am also really impressed by a lot of the work being done by these actors, but like Craig, I'm particularly impressed by the work that Ella Purnell has done, and probably equally torn between her and Kate Mulgrew. Really thought that both of them knocked it out of the park with the work they did on Prodigy this season, and really excited to see what they do going forward. I think that each of them had unique challenges, a lot of different shades to play for different reasons, very different reasons in this season. I think if I was giving it to one, I'd probably give the sled edge to Ella Purnell, just because she's a newcomer, less of a known quantity. I think the biased part of me, the part of me that loves Janeway, wants to give it to Kate Mulgrew. But I think for reasons like what Mike talked about, I'm giving it to Ella Purnell.
Okay. What about for a male or non-binary?
Oh, if I had to pick two and I couldn't pick Kate Mulgrew as my second, I guess I'd probably give it to, I've got a soft spot for the screaming work that Jack Quaid does with Boimler. Nothing makes me laugh quite like his performance of that character at times. So I think I'd have to give it to him because while all of them tickle my funny bone in different ways, I've got a real soft spot for Boimler.
Hey, Ashley?
This is really challenging. All of these folks have done a phenomenal job with the parts they've been given. Again, I have Janeway bias, so
yeah, me too, buddy.
My knee jerk is to go with Kate Mulgrew, particularly after hearing Kate Mulgrew in interviews. And I mean, to be perfectly frank, the woman talks like this is the most important work she's ever done in her life, the work that she's doing on Prodigy. And that blows me away. To know how much she cares about the message that Prodigy is putting out there for young eyes and young ears to see and hear. I think that's really important. But I think we would be remiss if I didn't highlight the incredible work that Tawny Newsome is doing as Beckett Mariner. Beckett has a lot of, especially this past season, has experienced a lot of growth. And I think Tawny portrays that really well. But I mean, Tawny also goes and corrects people in the writer's room about oh no, this Trek thing, this happened in DS9 and this happened in blah, blah, blah. Tawny knows her Trek. She is a fan. And I really respect that. So, I think for that reason, I think I'm going to go with Tawny because again, I think she's new, and I'm giving her the edge for the same reason because she's newer. She's new to Trek. We know Kate Mulgrew is amazing at everything because that's Kate Mulgrew. But I think Tawny is a little undersung, and I think she needs a little more recognition. So Tawny Newsome. As for the other guys, they're all really good, but I've got a soft spot for Rutherford. I think particularly in episode 5 of this past season, that was my favorite episode all season. Watching him play bad Rutherford and good Rutherford off of each other was great fun, but also very emotionally compelling as well. You really bought into all that okie dokie bullshit. Didn't you?
That's true.
Yeah, I did. So I think just the way that he was able to give both of those performances, for me, I think I've got to go with Eugene. Though I will say, if you want to see Jack Quaid, the Boimler scream and the off the wall zaniness that Jack Quaid performs, watch Meg Ryan in Joe versus the Volcano, and you see where it comes from. So,
she's great in that.
Yeah. Plays 3 different roles, all very different, and gets a little bit wackadoo. So you can see that right there. I watched that a couple weekends ago. I was like, oh, now I get it. That's definitely his mama. So anyway, for me, Tawny Newsome, Eugene Cordero.
Nice. Okay, so I want to give a quick shout out to Riley Alazraki for being 11 years old and performing some really meaty, emotional, weighted storyline in Star Trek Prodigy. Being the monster who gets cast aside and has no place. Nobody accepts her for who she is outside of being a circus act. Really, I mean, that was really sad. And, for a child to embody that and bring that voice to life, that's pretty impactful and definitely takes some talent. So I look forward to seeing more of Riley, as well as Brett Gray. I think he's doing a great job embodying the spirit of that and trying to really showcase what it means to be a complete outcast in this new world that he's in. It's a tough one, but at the end of the day, I'm giving it to Ella Purnell and Jack Quaid for many reasons that have been spoken about by you guys already.
Okay, so I get to pick the decider really between the boys. But do you know what? My vote actually would have gone to Brett Gray because Dal RL has gone on such a great story over these 20 episodes. And the episode where he swaps with Janeway, you could 100% believe that he was playing Janeway in that episode. So my vote would have gone Brett, but because I got to pick a decider on this one, it's down to Eugene or Jack. Do you know what? I'm going to go for Jack Quaid as Brad Boimler, because the character of Boimler has been such a funny creation. I mean, he's up against Eugene Cordero as well. You know, they're both amazing creations. So I'm going to give it to Jack Quaid. As for the female character, I've got to echo everything that's been said so far. Tawny's journey has been great. Marina's journey has been great, I should say. I can't really disagree with anything about Janeway. Ella Purnell has been brilliant. Riley Alazraki playing Roktak has just won over my heart completely. And you know what? We haven't mentioned her, but Noelle Wells's Devana Tendi is incredible as well. But I'm going to give another vote to Ella Purnell for Gwendala. So we have our finalists. We have our winners there of Ella Purnell with 4 votes and Jack Quaid, which I think is great actually, because we've got representation, one from Prodigy, one from Lower Decks. So I think that's fair. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'll try that again. We slightly disagreed with the nominations. Jack Quaid did get the right in with 26%, but the vote for the female side of it went to Tawny Newsome, which is fair enough. There were only a few other nominations beside, as you can see on the list. We had nominations for Dawn Lewis, John Noble, Gillian Vigman, Fred Tattershaw, and Angus Imrie.
Who did Gillian Vigman play?
Dr. Tiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sweary cat.
Okay.
Huh. Right. Okay, and moving on to category number 9.
Okay. Boy.
Best actors in a live-action Star Trek series. Yeah, you can see the names on the screen. This is going to be tough, I think. We have got Doug Jones, Patrick Stewart, Christina Chong, Alison Pill, Mary Wiseman, Ethan Peck, Anson Mount, Jerry Ryan, Sonequa Martin Green, and Michelle Yeoh. I think Michelle Yeoh's won enough awards recently, but I leave it up to you.
Best actors in a live action Star Trek series.
Yeah.
This is a great list. You know, the problem with these kinds of lists is that my brain immediately wants to start like saying, who do I not want to vote for? That's where my head goes to like whittle it down here. And this time it's difficult because all of these people have brought such a wealth of acting gravitas to the screen to add into the Star Trek lore. I mean, you know, we've come a long way since cardboard backdrops and sets and double-fisted hand punches, right? And a lot of these people are directly responsible for that.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
It's a tough one, but I am going to have to say Doug Jones right at the top. his role as Saru, as we talked about with Saru's performance before, it just goes hand in hand with delivering some of the most impactful Star Trek ethos in the lore. And I think I also want to shout out Christina Chong. I think she's really doing a fantastic job as La'an, Noonien Singh. There is a lot of multi-layered storylines going on with her character, and I want to explore more. And I hear, everyone talks about Michelle Yeoh, everyone talks about Patrick Stewart, everyone talks about Anson Mount, rightfully so. But if this were the underrated actors, I got to give it to Christina Chong. Craig, what do you think?
So I'm going to go with Christina Chong for basically the reasons of this is a character that could easily be very one-note and boring, because as written, she's a very particular way, but it's a good case of performance enhancing what's on the page. And I think she consistently adds more depth than might be written for her. I think she's seeing something in the character that maybe isn't necessarily written in the script. And then we as the audience get to see it come through in her performance because, she has that vulnerability. She has those moments of confusion, uncertainty, and they're all there, but she's trying to pretend that she always has all the answers and is super confident, but there's so much range there. And I think that she deserves an accolade for that. And on the other side, I would go for Ethan Peck because playing Spock is not easy. It's not a simple case of expressing zero emotion. It's about expressing minute emotion in different quantities and different scenarios. It's, the way that he conducts himself, the way he responds to things, the way he interacts with different people. Every single character he interacts with, he has a different relationship with. And it's, like Leonard Nimoy got a lot of praise for the way that he made an emotionless quote unquote character very passionate, and Ethan Peck is, I think, echoing that brilliantly.
Ashley, let's come to you next.
Tough call. Lots of great choices here. I think for me, I've got to go with Sonequa Martin Green as Michael Burnham, because Sonequa's performance, she embodies both her Vulcan and human upbringing so well in just like her physicality. I think the best example of this is the premiere of season 3, where she's landed and she screams in joy because she's alive. She made it, in the angel suit. And then all of a sudden she's okay. Now we're in business mode. And, it's that Vulcan, stoicism where she's taking control of the situation. It's like, okay, now I've got to blow this thing up, send the signal, boom, I'm got to get the work done. But just her walking in tension with both of those, it just really comes across in her physical performance. And in a culture where we watch TV and movies with our phones in our hands, I think that goes missing a lot. Yeah. And so for me, I've got to go with Queen Sonequa on that one. All hail. Honorable mention, I think, is Alison Pill. I didn't know it was possible to steal the show from Patrick Stewart, and yet that's exactly what she did in every single scene in season 2. Some of y'all are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. That's fine. We can talk later. But for me, like, Alison Pill is a very close second on that. But any of these folks are a fine choice. They're all so good. As for the guys, I'm really torn between Doug Jones and Ethan Peck. I think Ethan Peck really honors Leonard Nimoy with his performance. In 2020 on Star Trek Day, watching interviews that the Strange New Worlds cast did, and he was talking about how when he was cast as Spock, he went back and he watched original series. If Spock referenced a particular work in dialogue, he went and read that work. Some people are never going to be happy unless Leonard Nimoy rises from the dead and plays Spock again. But I think Ethan Peck really honors Leonard Nimoy with his portrayal of Spock. So I think that's worth noting and worth celebrating. But I think Doug Jones has the harder job. Doug Jones is able to emote and give such a compelling performance beneath so much prosthesis and makeup and yet present a character that is truly human while also being very alien. So for that, I've got to go with Sonequa Martin Green and Doug Jones.
Wow. Ian, we have talked several times over the course of our podcast about how good Sonequa Martin Green is at that exact duality between her Vulcan and human side. Are you also highlighting Sonequa Martin Green, or do you have a different choice?
No, I think I'm going to echo a lot of what Ashley just said. I think that while we may have disagreements about decisions that are being taken in the writer's room in terms of the direction that these characters have gone or will be going, the path they've taken to where they are at this point in the series, I think that she delivers what's being given to her, the material that's being given to her, with 110% commitment at all times. And I think that it's hard for me sometimes to separate like the decisions that they're making with Michael Burnham as a character with the decisions that Sonequa Martin Green is making as an actor playing that character. And what I've come to appreciate is that I agree with many more of her choices as an actor than I do with her choices as a character. And I think that she deserves credit for that. So my pick is going to be Sonequa Martin Green. And I want to echo everything Ashley just said about Ethan Peck and Doug Jones. I think that Ethan Peck may be my vote when I get another season of Strange New Worlds under my belt. But I think at this point, I got to give it up for Doug Jones. We talked about our love for Saru. We have talked about our love for that character and his work for the last 2 years. So I feel like I'd almost be disingenuous of me not to say Doug Jones here, but I want to say Ethan Peck is doing a great job, as is everyone on this list. But those are my two.
Amazing. Geoff, what do we have?
So I've got the deciding vote on the female actors for this one. It's down to Christina Chong with 2 votes each. Christina Chong and Sonequa Martin Green with 2 votes each. This is really tricky for me. But I think I'm going to have to go with Sonequa, in all honesty. I haven't loved La'an as much as a lot of fans of Star Trek have. And there's only really been one episode of the first season that I liked La'an, and that was the episode The Elysian Kingdom, where she wasn't really La'an. So I'm going to have to give this one to Sonequa. So Sonequa wins for her side. Doug Jones has already won it for the male side of it, but I'm going to put another one in there as well. So it's 4 votes to 1. Acting through all that makeup. As I mentioned earlier, I do amateur dramatics. I haven't had to do anything whereby you're buried under prosthetics or anything. All I've had to do is go up on stage and maybe sometimes take my glasses off. So I fully respect the acting work that Doug Jones has put into. So we've got Doug Jones and Sonequa Martin Green as our winners of best actors in a live action Star Trek series. And do you know what? We disagreed again with the write-in votes. Anson Mount won for men, and it was a tie for women between Jerry Ryan and Sonequa Martin Green.
Wow. Okay. What a great list, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've realized that Christina Chong is on that list again.
Yeah.
But this is the other votes that we had. So actually, Anson Mount is on there as well. I didn't really edit this one too well. But we had Melissa Navia, Wilson Cruz, Michelle Hurd, Celia Rose Gooding, Santiago Cabrera, Jason Isaacs, Jess Bush. Okay, I'm going to struggle on this one. Babs Alusamoken. I really hope I said the name wrong. Alison McCoon, thank you. Blue Del Barrio, we did have one vote, just in case it did go down the non-binary route. Bruce Horak was brilliant. Jeffrey Combs. Jess Bush again. Oh, I really didn't look at this one properly. And Rebecca Romaine. This is probably the worst slide I've done. I apologize.
I think I was one of those Jess Bush votes.
But were you both of them?
I might have been. I really like her.
She's delightful.
Yeah. I can't disagree with any of these folks being on the list here. I gotta tell you, I'm really gonna miss Santiago Cabrera in season 3.
I wonder if Rebecca Romaine might have had been more of a contender had she had more to do, because she disappears for quite a lot of this first season of Strange New Worlds. I wonder if that's an availability issue. She's just not around as much as the other actors are.
Hard to say.
I would imagine that she's going to get a much larger role in this second season, since
given the storyline.
Given the storyline, the central
or she'll spend half of it in prison and return in the second.
Right.
I hope
right.
Rebecca Romaine is delightful. By the way, if you want a little more taste of what's going on with the Illyrians, you should definitely check out the current comic book series. It's a 4-part series. Parts 1 and 2 are out right now, but it's called Strange New Worlds, the Illyrian Enigma. So,
I echo that. I've bought them as well. So yeah,
I just read them over the weekend. Good stuff.
Yeah. You said as well about missing Santiago Cabrera. I'm going to add to that, saying I'm going to miss Bruce Horak, because I really enjoyed Hemmer.
Well, he's going to be back in another role, so you have to miss him too much.
So.
Yeah.
I really hope so. Anyway, moving on to number 10, the best actor in a new Star Trek series. So this is across the board. One actor needs to be chosen from the list of Patrick Stewart, Jerry Ryan, Anson Mount, Doug Jones, Sonequa Martin Green.
All right. This is the winner take all, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're getting all the WASSIES.
Everything.
Actually, have we workshopped
I was thinking it's the acronym is WASSA, but that's also a brand of crackers, so we're not going to do that. But anyway, still working on that name.
Copy that. All right. Ian, we're going to start with you on this one here. Best actor out of all.
Giving it to Doug Jones, with the degree of difficulty that we've all highlighted a couple of times, how well realized the character is. And I think that he has suffered the least from some occasional rough writing decisions. So I think that for those reasons, it's going to be him for me. And I think that, we just comparatively, Patrick Stewart feels like, and don't want to take him for granted, but he feels sort of like a known quantity. And to be honest, I think that and this may be some of the writing decisions again, I think that some of the performance stuff in Picard has been not his best work as in Star Trek, to be perfectly honest. And Jerry Ryan, I feel like we just haven't gotten quite enough for me to really give it to her. I think ditto with Anson Mount. I think it's got to be Doug Jones for me.
Okay. That's a compelling argument. Craig, I'm going to come to you next.
Of that list, definitely Doug Jones. I think he has the highest hill to climb in terms of getting a performance out of the makeup and everything else. And he does it exceptionally well. The material he gets, he delivers it so well. And he generally gets really good material as well. But everyone on this list is good. I would agree with Ian on the Patrick Stewart not giving his perhaps best work on Picard. I think some of that's to do with him getting a bit old, the voice is going a bit, so the authority's not where it should be when he's giving these impassioned speeches. Jerry Ryan, sometimes I find it hard to parse 7 of 9 from Voyager and 7 of 9 from Picard. They feel like two different people to me, and I don't see where that middle point happened. So I'm still waiting for that. I feel like I need to see how she changed from this almost robotic type character to this much more emotionally open and expressive character.
Okay. Compelling stuff. Ashley, This is tough. I know.
Yeah. Actually, this was probably the easiest decision for me. I've got to go with Sonequa Martin Green. I think as much as I love Doug Jones and I don't want to diminish his performances at all, I think Sonequa has the harder job. I think she's under the microscope more because she's the captain, also because she's a Black woman. I think Sonequa has the harder job. And I think the way that she carries herself, not just in her performance, but the fact that she doesn't respond to haters, like she just doesn't. That's not her style. That's not what she's going to do. She just keeps on, keeping on, and does her thing, and does it with grace and poise and excellence. So for me, I've got to go with Sonequa Martin Green.
Wow, that's okay. It's down to me. Geoff, you're going to have the tiebreaker.
Thank you.
Giving it to Sonequa for a lot of the same exact reasons Ashley just mentioned. Thinking about it, when I saw this list pop up, immediately I was like, Doug Jones, wait, also Sonequa. Why? Okay, because there's a lot more going on with Sonequa in the show than there is with Doug in the show. And Doug is absolutely killing it at every level. But also in the show, there is, just like Ashley, you mentioned that microscope, that every decision has to be questioned. And not only does Sonequa like deliver on her character, but I believe in Michael Burnham. I believe that she's going to do what she says, even if I don't agree with the decision, even if I don't agree with necessarily where the writing might be taking it, I'm still on board and I'm loving everything that she does on screen. So, yeah.
Where do I go with this? Going by what I said earlier on, acting through all the layers of makeup and the characters and the progression that we've seen from Doug Jones as Saru over the years, he's done an incredible job. But before this, I was 100% going to go for Doug Jones, but you've persuaded me that this needs to go to Sonequa because, yeah, she is a Black woman in charge of a starship. Yes, she's got the eyes of haters in the Star Trek community. I don't think they're part of the community, in all honesty. Criticizing everything that Michael Burnham and Sonequa Martin Green does. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Sonequa as well because she's just absolutely nailed it. And that's across 4 seasons. And she's had such a journey in that 4 seasons as well. So, yeah, you've twisted my arm. I'm going to go with Sonequa. And yet again.
Yeah. Could have predicted that.
Anson Mount won the write-in vote for that one, but do you know what? He is absolutely killing it.
He's great.
See.
Yeah.
We're gonna
not a thing wrong with Anson Mount.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I can't argue with that. 29%. He absolutely wiped the floor with everyone else, but we can see other votes there as well. Other nominations that we had include Ethan Peck, Santiago Cabrera, Rebecca Romaine, Jason Isaacs, Annabelle Wallace was voted for in this category and not in either of the other ones, strangely. Michelle Yeoh, John Noble, and Ella Purnell. I realized earlier on when I said about Michelle Yeoh winning enough awards, I was maybe being a bit flippant on that one. She deserves all the awards that anybody can give her, in all honesty. But she didn't win the WASSIE or whatever we're going to call these awards.
I have a name proposal. You guys tell me what you think. I think these are the We Are Starfleet Live Logs and Proper Awards.
I'm liking it. Bit long.
Live Logs and Proper.
Live Logs and Proper.
I quite like WASSIES. It's a bit like Razzies, but no.
It's too much like Razzies for my taste. So.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so Geoff, your next one here.
Yeah, the best episode of an animated Star Trek series. We have got 2 episodes each of Lower Decks and Prodigy to think on. We've got, I should mention as well that any multi-part episodes that were voted for all went into one votes. So we've got Hear All, Trust Nothing for Lower Decks, Supernova for Prodigy, All the World's a Stage for Prodigy, and Wedge Douge from Lower Decks.
Okay. Wedge Douge was definitely one of my favorite episodes of Lower Decks. But for this vote, I'm giving it to Supernova for Prodigy. Ian, what about you?
Absolutely no question. It goes to Supernova for me. As much as I like all these other episodes here, Supernova, the two-part finale for Prodigy was exceptional. There's no other way of putting it. It was an exceptional finale to that season.
Ashley?
No contest. It's Supernova.
Craig, are we contesting?
Oh, yes. I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to go with All the World's a Stage. That's my favorite episode of Prodigy.
Good
I think
episode.
it's a great examination of fandom in terms of how you get into it. So in that episode, they come across people that have based themselves on the Enterprise logs that they've listened to. So Dal, in particular, considers them to be fake Starfleet. They're not real Starfleet. They didn't come to it in the same way that everyone should. And neither did the Prodigy crew. So he feels like a fraud as well. But the message of that episode is, doesn't matter how you get into something, when you're into it, that makes you part of it. So that's all you really need. And it was funny when I asked the Hagemans about it, and they've said, oh, that's not the point of the episode as we saw it. That's interesting. So I read into something that they didn't. But it's that, to me, that's exactly what that episode is about. And it's a great encapsulation of the modern state of fandom, as in, we will welcome you. It doesn't matter how you got here. We should be welcoming you. So for me, that messaging puts it over the top for me.
I certainly can't argue with that. Geoff?
I've got to give it to Supernova as well. Now, the one thing to bear in mind is that we started getting the nominations in even before Supernova aired. Either part of Supernova. So seeing it as one of the top 4 suggested or top 4 nominated episodes was quite incredible to see. But the fact that it won as well, as I said, with nominations being 2 weeks before the first part of the 2-part episode had aired, and it's gone through and won the write-in vote as well. We're all in agreement. So 26% of nominations were for Supernova. And there we go. We've got the other ones as well. We've got Kobayashi from Prodigy, A Mathematically Perfect Redemption. Yes, people did vote for that one for Lower Decks. First Contact, Lower Decks, Ghost in the Machine, A Moral Star, Crisis Point 2 Paradoxes, Grounded, Mining the Mind's Mines, Trusted Sources, Preludes, which was a great episode, and Time Amok. They all got their own nominations in the votes.
Wow. Fantastic.
So guess what's next?
Ooh, the live action.
Oh,
sorry.
Go back. Go back.
Ignore what you just saw. Number 12, best episode of a live action Star Trek series. We had 4 Star Trek Strange New Worlds episodes nominated: Memento Mori, Spock Amok, A Quality of Mercy, and Kingdom, and Such Sweet Sorrow for Discovery.
Wow. So across all the live action, we have 4 Strange New Worlds and 1 from Discovery.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that says something. Listeners, you're welcome to take away whatever you like. But that's quite interesting. Ashley, let's start with you.
This is a no contest for me. It's Such Sweet Sorrow. I've watched through Discovery 2 or 3 times now, and I will ugly cry through the 2-part finale of season 2 of Discovery every single time, because I am so moved by their courage and their willingness to say, hey, no, we're not going to let you do this by yourself. we're going to go with you. We're going to give up literally everything and everyone we know because we think what you're doing is that important. I admire that courage deeply. And so for me, it's got to be such sweet sorrow. As much as I love all these other ones, I think they're great. Actually, I don't love Equality of Mercy, but that's another story for another day. But such sweet sorrow, I think for me is the best of New Trek.
Okay. Craig, where are you landing on this list?
Memento Mori is the Gorn one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was just double checking that before I went on a complete rant about how much I love it. And then it's not the right episode. But yeah, it's that one. I really like it. It's a great La'an episode. I love the tactics on display as the Enterprise is playing cat and mouse with these Gorn ships where they're the mouse. Using the physics to get out of the situation, the way they damage the ship, the visual work on that is excellent. All the characters are playing to their strength in that episode. It's very, very good. I loved it.
Ian, where are you landing?
Yeah, I like all these episodes. I do want to give a shout out to Memento Mori, like Craig. I think that might have been one of, if not my favorite, Strange New Worlds episodes, though I really like these other two, there's the other three as well. But I think my vote is going to be Such Sweet Sorrow. I think that for me is still kind of the high water mark for Disco season 4, for Disco as a series. And yeah, everything about that finale for me works pretty well, even by the standards of sort of that show having a little bit of an inconsistency, problem quality wise. I think that finale for me was really great. I'll rewatch that episode anytime.
No, that's a great argument for Such Sweet Sorrow. It truly stands out as like one of my favorite of the series as well. And I'm happy to see it on the list. For me, though, out of this, I really loved Spock Amok. That was one of my favorite episodes from Strange New Worlds. It was fun. It harkened back to all the silliness of Star Trek. And yes, I said it. Star Trek is very silly at times. And I really want to see a little bit more of that kind of camp, of that kind of humor. When I can watch a TV show and just smile through the whole thing, that is something that's really good for viewing purposes. So my vote is to Spock Amok. Geoff, where do we land?
I'm going to go for something different myself. I really liked the Elysian Kingdom. I thought it was the same reason as you, silliness. I love it when Star Trek does silly. And it had such a heartwarming ending, but the whole episode, I had a grin on my face the entire time. And yeah, that's why I would have gone for the Elysian Kingdom. However, it doesn't matter because we've had 2 votes for Such Sweet Sorrow. So that wins. Ashley, you said you didn't like Equality of Mercy.
It felt too copy paste from The Balance of Terror. That's why I didn't like it. Also, I don't know that I'm really into Newkirk. I don't know that. I don't know. And again, it's hard to judge because this was a what if sort of episode. So I don't know if his portrayal might be differently, but in season 3, but I wasn't as into Newkirk. But may I add a commentary on Spock Amok?
Yes, of course.
In my interview with Mike McMahon, I learned that he did some punch up on the dialogue for Spock Amok. That's why it's so dang funny.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
I hope there's more of that kind of collaborate. I mean, it does sound like there's going to be a crossover episode. So honestly, the more of those Lower Decks writers can punch up the dialogue in Strange New Worlds, maybe that's why the comedy works a little bit better than average for a Star Trek show in that series.
Yeah. There's a great list here of other write-in episodes. Children of the Comet, The Stargazer, Nepenthe. That was a classic Star Trek Picard episode, in my opinion. From Discovery, Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad. That gets a vote from me for sure. Species 10C, Hide and Seek from Picard, Strange New Worlds, of course, from, I'm sure no surprise, Strange New Worlds, Terra Firma, All Those Who Wander, Stardust City Rag. I'm kind of impressed that went into this list.
I like it. I like his pimp hat. I like that it's silly. But it also has like some serious, like emotional stuff in there too. That's it's the episode with Raffi's son. So, I think people poo-poo it because I think Rios's pimp hat is weird, but you know what? He can rock it. It's fine.
Yeah, the hat was not my issue.
Normally.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry. That's from season 1. That was a pretty creepy episode. Broken Pieces and What's Past is Prologue. This is a great list. I agree with you, Ashley. Equality Mercy is a little bit too much Control-C, Control-V of Balance of Terror. But what I do love about Quality Mercy is the reimagining of some of the uniforms, especially that Monster Maroon outfit, although I think they could have done a few other iterations that would have maybe worked better. Anyway.
Also my least favorite uniform. I do not care for Monster Maroon.
We should mention as well as Equality of Mercy actually got the write-in vote for this as well. So we disagreed again with the audience.
Okay.
This is the point in the audience is like the Academy knows nothing.
Right, so we've got best episode of a new Star Trek series. And this is across the board now. So we've got All the World's a Stage from Prodigy, Equality of Mercy from Strange New Worlds, Such Sweet Sorrow from Discovery, and Spock Amok from Strange New Worlds.
Wow, interesting. This is an interesting selection based off of everything that we just said for the previous question. Okay.
What surprised me is that Supernova didn't show up in the top of this one.
Yeah.
It would have had my vote if it did.
For sure. Ian, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just stick with Such Sweet Sorrow. We've got a lot of the same nominees here. I really liked All the World's a Stage, but much like Craig, not quite as much as Supernova. I guess I'll stick with Such Sweet Sorrow, although like you, I also really did like Spock Amok. I know we discussed that and had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, for sure. Craig, what's your take? Are you going with All the World's a Stage?
Yeah, I'll stick with that for the same reasons I said before. I'll go on the record by saying I didn't like Spock Amok. The hijinks were... I wasn't a fan of the hijinks, just like Spock himself.
All right, fair enough. What does Spock sitting next to you think about hijinks?
I don't think he cares either way. He just wants to be left alone and sleep.
Well, he does cause them occasionally.
Yeah, he likes creating hijinks, but I don't know what he thinks about observing hijinks.
Mm-hmm. We Are Starfleet is recorded in front of a live studio cat.
Yes.
I've got to go again. Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2, just for the emotional impact that it has, how it completely, I mean, it quite literally moved Discovery into the future, but it also allowed it to break away from the must fit into a previously before TOS sort of era. I love that episode so much. We'll happily watch it anytime and we'll, ugly cry every single time. So
when I look at this list, I think about like best episode of a new Star Trek series. And of course, best episode means so many different things to so many different people. And when I think about this question, I'm kind of thinking about it for me personally, how if I were to choose an episode to show to somebody to show off Star Trek for the first time, which one would I pick out of this list? And part of me wants to go with my gut and say Spock Amok because it's funny, it's humorous, it's delightful, but also there's so much backstory and sometimes it can get a little wonky that I'm not sure that a new viewer would be like, oh wow, okay, what am I watching? The whole body swap thing? I don't know about that. And then we've got two finales here, which is Equality of Mercy, Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2. They both are good in their own right, but you got to watch the entire series in order to understand what that story is. So All the World's a Stage is kind of a bottle episode, and it's kind of an episode where I can just take it and be like, here, watch this. It's a really good episode of a really good show, and I think you're really going to like it. So for this argument, I'm going to go with All the World's a Stage.
So where do we stand at the moment? That gives us 2 votes for All the World's a Stage, was it?
And 2 for Such Sweet Sorrow, yes.
Okay, so I get the casting votes again. I'm going to go for the Prodigy episode on this one. I'm going to go for All the World's a Stage.
But
we're not dazzled by the bright lights of a finale.
I have issues with Such Sweet Sorrow, particularly the turbo lift routines. I've never been a fan of turbo lift routines in Discovery because I often think they look like the door factory in Monsters, Inc. And whenever I think of that episode, I think of the doors. But that's why
Is that not in the next finale?
That's a different finale. Such Sweet Sorrow is the when they escape to the future, when Michael takes the Red Angel suit and Control is after them.
I thought that was all part of it as well, because you've got the fight that takes place between Control and Burnham, but it has been a while since I've watched Such Sweet Sorrow, so I may be forgetting that. But I'm still going to stand by it, because I did really enjoy All the World's a Stage and the throwback to the original series that we had in there as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with All the World's a Stage for that one. And again, we've disagreed with the audience because we had a joint winners of Equality of Mercy and Spock and Muck each getting 15%. And again, large selection of episodes there. We won't go through them all because we've pretty much heard all of these episode choices in the previous 2 nominations.
I see Supernova is definitely on the list.
It didn't get voted for in the top 4, though, which is what the nominations were from. So surprising that there were only a couple of nominations for it, whereas it was one of the lead nominations for animated. But there you go, which means we're down to our final category. There's no nominations for this one because I think the audience should win this one because, let's face it, there's only really 6 series that we can pick from. So I think we should give our thoughts on what we think the best series has been, and then we'll see what the audience has voted for.
Okay. Craig, do you want to start us off? What do you think has been overall the best new Star Trek series?
This isn't going to surprise anybody, but I'm going to go with Prodigy. I think out of the gate, it really solidified its mission statement. It kept going, kept building, kept getting better, kept bringing in different elements that were just amazing. The character development was great. The animation was great. The storytelling was great. Definitely the best first season of Star Trek. And it's, the best of the new shows for me.
Okay. Ian, I saw you nodding along there. Do you agree with Craig or do you have a different take?
No, I have to agree with Craig. It may sound a little nuts to anyone who hasn't actually watched this series to nominate this first season of this like animated series, which from the outside and in many ways is, aimed towards a younger audience. Certainly it's aimed at families. And I think it's a testament to how exceptionally high the quality of the show is that we're both doing that without any kind of reservation or hesitation. I think that it, with I think an honorable mention to Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds, I think Prodigy is the one that almost out of the gate for me. Certainly by the back half of the first season, it announced itself as something really special. Like Craig said, it's since TOS, clearly the best first season of a Star Trek show that we've had.
Ashley, you've heard 2 votes with compelling arguments for Star Trek Prodigy. Are you concurring or are you contesting?
This is a tough call because I mean, I haven't met a Star Trek I haven't liked. But I think I've got to go with Discovery. Okay. And here's why. Discovery takes the biggest swings out of any of this. I think Lower Decks and Prodigy are the most consistently written. I think Picard, is kind of its own thing because it's more of a sequel than anything else. Strange New Worlds, as much as I love Strange New Worlds, and I think Strange New Worlds is wonderful, it's still very much in the vein of original series. I think Discovery is trying to do something different, and I respect that. So for me, I've got to go with Discovery because it takes the biggest swings and it boldly goes.
That's a fact. I love that you said it does take the biggest swings. That's absolutely true. And with Strange New Worlds, I have a gut feeling that the audience might say Strange New Worlds, but I can't agree. We've had 1 season and overall it's been quite good, but it's also very Control-C, Control-V of a lot of original series plots, a lot of next gen plots. And it's just taking a new spin on things we've already seen. Discovery has given us our first true alien mystery with Species 10C. Discovery has shown us that AI, uncontrolled and just letting it do its thing, not a good idea. It's introduced to us a lot of different technology and a lot of different plot lines that we would have never considered in a Star Trek show. Lower Decks is fantastic. I love Lower Decks so much. Every time it's on, it's just pure smile, pure enjoyment. Same thing with Prodigy. Absolutely love it. Here's the thing, though. Sorry, I forgot to mention Star Trek Picard. Like you said, Ashley, is doing its own thing, and I definitely feel like this might feel a little sacrilegious, and I apologize, but Star Trek Picard is the least Star Trek show that has the Star Trek name on it, in my opinion.
No, I would agree with that.
I would also agree.
Uh-oh.
And not just because you're not allowed to cover it on this podcast.
We're gonna get some backlash from Kurt.
I know. But
bring it on.
One thing I gotta say is the only Trek show that has gotten my butt in the seat every Thursday night, every Thursday, to watch it ASAP. Like, wife, we need to watch this right now. Let's go. What time? And that's been Discovery. It's that simple. It keeps me coming back.
So it's down to Discovery or Prodigy. I mean, personally, I would pick Lower Decks. That is my favorite series of Star Trek at the moment. It's the one I get most excited about when there's a new series coming out. But of those, I'm going to go with Prodigy because as much as I've enjoyed Discovery since it's been on, and this isn't me hating on Discovery, it is my least favorite new Star Trek. But that isn't to say I hate it, because I also haven't met a Star Trek I don't like.
Right.
But I'm going to have to go with Prodigy. So shall we see how our votes of it are different?
Yeah.
Well, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, nobody voted for Star Trek short tracks. So that's
maybe that's because no one considers that to be a show in itself.
Number 5, with just 7% Star Trek Discovery, which shocked me, to be perfectly honest. Number 4, Star Trek Prodigy, 11%.
Okay.
Number 3, Star Trek Picard with 14%.
Okay.
Number 2, Star Trek Lower Decks with 25%. And yet, after just one season, almost half of the votes were for Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
That doesn't surprise me because it's probably the most accessible of the new Star Trek shows.
Yeah, I know
you can just jump in on any episode and follow what's going on pretty much.
Yeah, and I know a lot of Star Trek fans who just haven't thought of even checking in with Prodigy for a variety of reasons, because it's animated, because it looks like a Star Wars animated show, because, like it looks like it's for kids, whatever the reason. I think that if as many people watched Prodigy as watched Strange New Worlds, the votes would be closer.
Yeah, people dismiss animation for sure. Unfairly, but they do it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that is the case. I've run into a lot of people online, and they all echo those exact sentiments. They're like, "Oh, really? Like, it's a kid's show. It's on Nickelodeon. I don't want to watch it." It's like, you should watch it. There's really good Star Trek in there. It's like, are you watching for a specific character, or are you watching because you love the ethos and the theme of what Trek stands for? That's
right.
I think it depends on the type of Star Trek fan there is.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Okay. This has been incredible. And I know we will definitely be coming back to do this maybe next year. Jeff, what do you think?
We can wait another 5.
Well, we've got potentially 50 episodes of Trek coming up this year. So I think we'll have plenty to choose from.
Right on.
Think about it like that. Jesus.
60,
that's what we used to get, more or less.
Yeah, 60 if we get the whole second season of Prodigy, that is.
Yeah, because when you had Voyager and DS9 running concurrently, that was about 50 episodes a year.
Sure.
Near enough.
Give or take. So any final thoughts, any major surprises from you, Jeff, before you leave us today, before we end our recording here? Any final thoughts from you on what you saw in the results that we did not see?
I was really surprised by the love for Strange New Worlds. To be honest, we've had just one season of it, and we knew it was called for by the fans. We knew that they made Star Trek Strange New Worlds because of the amount of fans out there going for, give us a Pike series. And to be fair, they delivered. They gave us a great first season. Even my partner loves Strange New Worlds, and she's not a massive Star Trek fan. So I think they've really hit the ground running with this series. Prodigy, I'm really surprised, has done as well as it has. But, it didn't really show up that well in the votes, although Supernova just wiped the floor with best episode. And I think we've had fair representation pretty much from every series across the board. So people have been really, really fair with everything. Discovery's got its shout-outs. Picard's got its shout-outs. Even mentions of Harry Mudd means that Short Treks had its own moment in the sun. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this, and I've really enjoyed seeing what the fans think of the new era of Star Trek.
Wow. Well, shout out to you. Thank you so much for taking the time and hosting this for us and coming on and kind of challenging our conceptions on what we think the best of the best, the cream of the crop of all these series is. Definitely quite a bit of surprises in there. I love the representation from Discovery personally. I was really happy to see that on the list so many times. Hell yeah for Sonequa Martin Green getting shouted out as one of the best actors. 100%. Can't deny it. So with that, I just want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to We Made This Network of podcasts for helping us host. Thank you, Holosuite Media Network, for Jeff's time. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Ian. You guys have been phenomenal. And thank you to the subscribers out there. Until next time, let's leave out with some WASSIES. We're still going to workshop this, Ashley.
Sorry, guys. I was not given this assignment ahead of time. I would have been more prepared.
Thank you all for joining for the first annual We Are Starfleet Star Trek Awards. I hope you learned a lot. There were a lot of surprises. If you have opinions, comments, questions, feel free to drop us a line over at Starfleet Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We are a part of the We Made This Network over at WeMadeThisNetwork.com. Give us a shout for all of your pop culture, TV, and film needs.